Hey guys, let's have a reality chat, and we're going to be chatting it up about Andy Cohen and what he basically revealed recently on Watch What Happens Live. So, after the Real Housewives of Atlanta that just recently aired, he was asked about the situation with Monique and Candiace and the questions that he asked. And so he's talking about it now, and he said that he was pushing for the reunion to have 4 parts. He said, I really talked to Candiace a lot about her role in this and the fact that a lot of people think she provoked it. And she said, drag me. We talked about that in relation to what Kenya and Portia went through, and I don't think enough of that made it in the show clearly. So there you go. And he said, it's not good to know unless we aired it. I don't think it makes any difference because I know a lot of people were very upset. And so, honestly, guys, I just really wanted to chat about this real quick because the people who are going to be upset are going to be upset. If you are just exclusively Team Monique, then any and everybody that says something about Monique except Monique was right and she, meaning Candiace, deserved what she got because she asked for it or she was running her mouth or whatever. Nothing anyone says is going to be good enough unless you're praising this woman, pretty much. And I just really find that sad because I spoke of Monique in the beginning in a way that it was very kind towards her. And after I saw the fight, I just feel like common sense says whether Candiace was yapping her mouth like a little chihuahua, and even if she said, drag me, that doesn't give you the right to put your hands on somebody. And so whether Andy grilled Candiace for filth on all portions of the reunion, that really does not dismiss Monique's actions, and Monique knows it. And that's why Monique says she didn't even take an issue with the way Andy handled everything on the reunion. She was interviewed on All About the Tea, and she said, I think he did what he felt that he was supposed to do. He did not want people to think that he was in any way, shape, or form off the hook, and he had to go in. I would have appreciated it if that same energy was pointed in the other direction of people who needed that same degree of treatment. I've never had an issue with Andy. We text. He loves T'Challa. I sent him a bunch of child swag. I got my holiday gift from him, and I texted him and thanked him for it. So we don't have any issues. So Monique really knows that she was wrong. And again, she admitted that the fight, she said out of her own mouth, and I reiterate, had nothing to do with Candiace. She said Candiace's hands and whatever way she was doing it triggered her, and it brought her back to a place when she was a child, and now her dad used to put his hands in her face and she couldn't defend herself. That's crazy. You just don't do stuff like that, period. And so with this situation, I do believe if that were the case, Andy had a little bit more pull on what probably would have been shown or viewed. Maybe that wasn't viewed because it just didn't look good. And I'm not saying it didn't look good for Andy or it didn't look good for Monique or it didn't look for Candiace. Maybe it was cut out because it just didn't make any sense with regards to everything else that was said. Because if she, meaning Candiace, were pressed on this situation saying, well, do you think that you caused Monique to drag you because you requested her to do it? Like that, I'm sorry guys, that just sounds ridiculous. I just don't even think that would make any sense. God, I hate to put it like this, but I'm just being beautifully honest. Any rational human being would say that just because someone says drag me doesn't mean you're supposed to do it. If someone said stab me and the person stabs you, like seriously, that's why I'm saying that just doesn't make any sense. So for people who have made the statement, whether rational or not, that Candiace, she runs her mouth. She asked for it. She runs her mouth on Twitter, this, that, and the other, gives Monique justification to do what she did. You clearly have issues. You cannot be a rational human being and operate in life that way. And again, like I said, I'm not saying that there are not people who will not try to take you there and you can just picture yourself just picking them up and body slamming them. I mean, I get it. There are just some nasty, rude, ignorant, whatever people out here in this world where sometimes you feel like the only thing that they're going to understand is a punch to the face or to the gut or to pick them up and body slam them. But that does not make it okay to do that. And honestly, situations never get solved in that way. We're not little kids playing on the playground or having a playground fight and you duke it out and then you're over it and then you're playing on the swings the next day. Like, we're adults. You just can't operate that way. So even if they showed Andy grilling Candiace about her actions in so-called quote-unquote provoking the situation, I don't think it would have been rational for them to do that, because most people who even have sense or even maybe some pull on the network would have seen that as victim blaming. Let's just be honest. If that line of questioning actually did happen, and if they were to air that, I believe that would have been viewed as victim blaming. And in this day and age, especially with this Me Too movement and Time's Up and all the other ones that people have, you can get destroyed for blaming the victim in a lot of situations. So I just don't think it would have been a good look for the network, for the Real Housewives franchise, or for Andy Cohen if he actually did indeed question Candiace that way and they aired that. So I think that's why he kind of dismissed it, and Monique actually says she doesn't take an issue with the way Andy handled things. I believe Monique really knows that she was wrong, but her ego and her pride will not allow her to just say, you know what, I effed up. I blacked out or whatever, and you were pissing me off. I felt like you had something to do with this supposed rumor that never aired on the show or whatever, and you were hanging out with Charisse, and I thought you and I were better than that, and you knew that Charisse and I weren't cool, and to find out that you were hanging out with Charisse and you had her over to your wedding anniversary party and didn't tell me, give me a heads up that she was going to be there, whatever she was all upset about and held it inside, and then she just at that moment let it all out with her fist on the back of Candiace's head, with Candiace's head on the table. She just can't come out and admit it, because unfortunately I believe that this situation in a lot of ways, it shows the worst of people, where people are just so angry and team Monique. It's okay to like Monique. I don't dislike Monique, and I never said that I disliked her. I just didn't like what she did. And that's the problem these days. You can't say I don't like what you did and still like the person and people be okay with that. You have to be, it's all or nothing. And that's bullcrap, because we're humans and we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. None of us are always right. So even with that being said, I'm not saying that Candiace was right either with how she handled the situation, because I said that I didn't agree that she should have went and pressed charges. I didn't agree with that, even though I said that what happened to her was wrong. I didn't think that she should have taken it there, because sometimes you have to be the bigger person and you have to let things go. I've been in a situation before where somebody wronged me to the fullest extent, and even though I could have taken it to the courts, I decided to let it go. And it does take a big person to let something go when somebody has wronged you completely and you did not deserve it at all. And to just say, you know what, I'm going to let it go and I'm going to let life deal with them. That's a hard thing to do. It takes a big person to do that. So again, I'm saying that unfortunately in this situation, I feel like it has displayed the worst in some people, in the characters, I should say, of some people when it comes to, I'm team Monique, Candiace deserved it. She was running out her mouth. That's the game that they play on being, a housewife, especially on the ones where it's mainly a black cast. Let's just be honest. The reading and all that other stuff, like, they go there. You got to be able to take it. You can't go to, fisticuffs and blows and punches and dragging people because they said something that you don't like, or if they told you to drag them. If someone says, punch me, bitch, and the person punches them, it's wrong. And you can say all day, well, she asked for it. It's all talk, period. So people say, well, Candiace, she got what she asked for. She's all talk. Sometimes when you keep running your mouth like that, eventually you're going to get what you asked for. Not on the Real Housewives. I'm sorry. You're not supposed to do that. That's why they have that in their contracts and in their clauses against going to blows, because they know that words can trigger actions that it really shouldn't go there. And that's what happened in this situation. So Monique, she couldn't let go of her ego. She couldn't just come right out and say, you know what? I screwed up. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Even though I don't feel like I was wrong, I was. And it took me a long time to come to that conclusion that I was wrong. But again, Monique has displayed over not just this past season, but the previous seasons, where she doesn't really take 100% responsibility for the actions that she takes. Even with spending the over $20,000 to launch that podcast, that was ridiculous. But anyway, those are just my thoughts on the situation, guys. Andy pretty much said, look, it is what it is. I did question Candiace on it. It didn't air. What do you want from me? Monique quit, or we released her, or it was mutual, whatever. Either way, she's not coming back. So what do you want from me? It is what it is. I just believe that Andy is just kind of over it. And he knows too that the backlash that he is receiving, it's also coupled with this so-called boycott that NeNe is trying to get for the network and calling the network racist. This is just, it's just ridiculous. So I think Andy is almost like, you know what? I'm over all of this bull crap. Leave me alone. So anyway, guys, you let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section. And until next time, I'm just being beautifully honest.